Today on the Transplant Helper, we're going to be discussing the real issues with getting a tattoo post-transplant. Stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community. Hey Transplant Helper community, my name is Jim Merle, and if you're at all interested in learning all things about transplant, this is exactly the channel for you. I would encourage you, if you want to be educated and motivated, go ahead and hit that big subscribe button right beneath this video. Maybe even consider hitting the bell notification all beside that, and that way each and every time we have a new video, you'll be notified of it. You'll be one of the very first to be able to see it, and you can give your feedback at that time. But with that being said, today we're going to be discussing what I believe is probably the most controversial subject we have ever discussed here on the program. That's because it touches on a subject where there's so much arguing, so much fighting and bickering. As a matter of fact, if you go over and see the big debate that occurs over on Facebook and some of these groups concerning transplant, you let someone ask the simple question,
"Can I get a tattoo?"
and watch the riot that erupts. People will begin to argue and fuss and fight, and I mean, it'll really get ugly to an extent, and that really has to do with both sides of the issues. I think the majority of people in those groups probably are against getting a tattoo, and they'll vocalize that very quickly and very loudly, saying you shouldn't do it, bad decision, you're going to die if you do it, you know, you're going to get sick, whatever. I even saw a guy the other day just basically come right out, and I quote, he said, "If you want to get a tattoo, get it. You'll be dead within a year." Wow. Okay. I don't know if that's actually going to be true. It's probably not going to be true, and especially won't be tattoo related at that point. But that's the type of arguments that go on. On the other side of that, probably a minority, a little smaller group, but just as vocal, those who are proponents of getting a tattoo, they will argue tooth and nail. And their biggest argument is often, my team told me I could do it. I got approval for such, and I've not had any issues. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to kind of delve through this today. We talk about the debate already. We're going to move into some of the details today and talk about the real issues with getting a tattoo. And it really comes down to a couple of different things concerning someone who is a transplant or post-transplant patient. And it really has to do with, number one, the depressed immune system. I know you knew I was going to go there. I had to go there. We as post-transplant patients have a depressed immune system. Therefore, going out and getting any procedure done, which in any way, breaks the skin, can be a little bit risky. And some people see that right on the surface and they say, well, there it is. You shouldn't get a tattoo because you're going to get sick. You're going to die. Well, maybe not, but we have to keep in mind that we are immunosuppressed, whether it's catching the common colds, the flus, the viruses, or maybe like I've done in the past, getting an infection from something as simple as getting a blood draw here in my arm. Yeah, there are some risks there. And anytime that top layer of skin is broken, that's your protective layer. And yeah, there is a little bit more risk. So you have to use caution with that. You're not the average person on the street who can go out and do whatever they want to do. You got to be cautious because these medications, they're at the same time saving your life, they're putting you at risk for catching potential infections, that sort of thing. So there is that issue that we're immune suppressed. The second argument that always comes up in these tattoo discussions, and it's really one that people just explode on, has to do with the environment. They say these places that do tattoos, they're nasty, they're yucky, they're full of bacteria, that's just a problem. Those are bad people that do tattoos, drug dealers, drug users, so they say. All these things come up, and I admit there are some sleazy places, okay? You can go some places in your city, your town, wherever you're at, and probably find someone that's doing tattoos in the back of a garage or an abandoned building somewhere who that is absolutely going to be an issue. And there are certain dangers that come with being with those environments, the worry that they've got bad ink, the worry that they're using some kind of infected materials, whether it be the needles themselves, whether the machine itself that does the tattooing is not being cleaned properly. There are a lot of issues there that can come up. And that's a lot of times all people want to talk about is the fact that you might get that bad apple, go in that bad environment, and then it be extremely dangerous. And I totally get that, because that goes back again to the preceding point about us being immunosuppressed and the likelihood, or at least the possibility, of catching some type of a thing, a bug, if you will, that maybe the average person person does not get a hold of. So you have to be really cautious about the environment. But on the other side of that, I have to admit, there are many tattoo parlors that exist today. You call them parlors, but many tattoo establishments today that exist that are very high class, very well prepared. They're taking precautions sometimes that are probably better than your local doctor's office, as far as sanitizing their equipment, using new needles each time, making sure their ink comes from reliable sources. They really, really do a good job. And they've gone far and beyond sometimes what is even necessary in making sure that they're giving you a good product and that they're not going to cause you any bodily harm. And regardless of the way you think about someone who gives tattoos or does them, on the inside, there could be and are some great, great people that do that. So look for those better establishments. You may pay a premium for such. Look for places that are clean, sanitized, that are licensed to do what they do, and that will help out a lot. So the environment is an issue. But let me tell you about the real issue. I promise we talk about the real issue here. The real issue, more than likely, is not the fact that you're immune suppressed. It's not the environment, or whether it be good, bad, or ugly, that you go into. That's big. But it's probably coming down to the way that you care for yourself, or that you're cared for after getting the tattoo. Okay, just like your transplant care needs to be top notch, you need to be diligent, you need to be, really working every day to make sure that you take your medications on time every time, that you're staying clean and eating healthy and exercising. Talked about that so many times here on the program. But just like that, when you're caring, if you make the decision to go out and get that tattoo, you're going to be caring for something that isn't more or less an open wound, okay? And that's what really matters. Following good procedures that are not only laying out by, say, for example, your local tattoo artist, which hopefully, again, they're top notch and they know what they're doing, but also do your intense research. Try to do the best quality research that you can so that you can do things right. Now, most of the time, they simply suggest you get the tattoo. When you're done, I think you wash it off real good with some soap. Basically, keep it clean. Keep some kind of a Vaseline type lotiony. I don't know all that. I think aqua something. Anyway, Lubriderm, that sort of thing. Keeping that over it, that coating kind of creates a little bit of a buffer, a seal, keeps it from itching. And that's really one of the issues, is you might get itching when it starts to heal. And now you're putting everything on your hands and in your fingers into that open kind of a wound type situation. But anyway, taking care of it the way that they say. Now, I have heard and saw this. As a matter of fact, let me give a big shout out to Brianne Barbie and her YouTube channel. I'll try to link one of her videos up here in the corners, description below, and I'll put it on the end card in just a moment, where she talks about a product that we use in the medical field all the time called Tagaderm, okay? And Tagaderm is basically like a clear Band-Aid, okay? She describes it, I think maybe it's like that sticky saran wrap stuff. And some tattoo artists have decided, instead of the typical traditional care process like I just mentioned, to use the Tagaderm. And basically they finish the tattoo, they make sure everything's good and clean, washed off. Then they take and cut out a piece of that Tagaderm and apply it over the entire tattoo, and it just kind of seals down. Now, they may have different opinions on such, but once they do that Tagaderm, it kind of works as a watertight, almost an airtight seal that helps keep bacteria, keep fungus among us or whatever, keep all the bad stuff out. They're probably going to ask you to come back and have that dressing changed the day later, just like you would with any other wound. And then they may have you to come back again in a week. They'll check it, pull off the final layer of Tagaderm there. You'll go about your business, and if you're healed, you're great. If not, then you move into the kind of the more Vaseline type, lotiony type things. And I think that's good practice, okay? That within itself may show that your particular tattoo artist or whatever, that they're going to take a little bit extra care if they're willing to go that extra mile with that. Now, the debate is oftentimes one that comes up on the Facebook groups. The details are just that. I think most importantly, above your immune suppression, which is important, above the environment, which is certainly important, it's going to be the post-tattoo care that matters the most. That's going to make the difference whether or not you end up getting sick. And as you know as well as I do, you may catch something that's nothing to the guy next door, put you in the hospital, okay? So being cautious. But then it comes down to what I would call the decision. Not the debate, not the details, but the actual decision. And I'm going to tell you what everybody else says. The final decision needs to come down to a discussion, an open, candid discussion between you and your team, okay? Sit down with them, because everybody's going to tell you this or that. Somebody's going to get on Facebook and say, my team said it's fine, it doesn't hurt a thing. Somebody else gets on there and says, my team says absolutely not. No, 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 no. You talk to your team, okay? As I said in a video the other day, not my team, not the team of the person next door or down the road or across the country or on a Google search. Talk to your team and understand going in that they may say yes, they may say no, and you got to learn to accept those decisions from your team. And if you want to still argue a bit and have a more of a discussion, they are the people to do that with. Have the discussion with them and then make the decision on whether or not you want to proceed. I don't really know that this is ever a life and death issue, not so more than it would be for anyone. You know, there are people who go in, they get procedures done. Tattoos are like an elective type, almost a surgery procedure, and it goes bad. There are other people who go in and it goes wonderfully well, the majority. So you've got to make the decision for yourself. Now, I really appreciate you joining me today. I would love to hear from you in the comments below, but you better keep it nice, because I've got that little delete button and remove button, and I'm not afraid to use it, okay? But comment below. Let me know, do you have a tattoo post-transplant? If so, maybe talk about why you got that. A lot of times people do this to honor their donors or to, commemorate their gift, that sort of thing. Tell me, if you don't have a tattoo, why did you make that choice? Again, being nice about it. But why did you make that choice for you? What did your team say about it? We're just continuing the discussion right down here. But overall, it is a decision you must make. The debate is real. The details are available. And the decision is one to be made by you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Most of my videos are not related to such as this. So go ahead and click on one of those that's going to pop up on the screen in a moment. And I promise you, I will constantly work my best and do my best to provide you with great content which can help you to live a healthy, happy transplant life. Thank you so much. I love you each. Stay stronger, friends.